Hello and welcome back to Of the Devil. Last part, Morgan basically had to clean up her little mess before heading back to report that she didn't get the mask. Which we know isn't true. But she basically left the scene to where it looked like the guy that they had hostage ended up taking out the three. And well, we're at, was it Daimani? It's been a minute. Yeah, while we're at this bar where, Sarah's been working, these guys from the Ikariya family, a name that we've seen pop up a few times, have asked Morgan to come with them, and after thinking about it, I'm wondering if the guy she framed is a part of the Ikariya family, and we have to defend the guy that we just framed. That's my prediction for this. They did, like, in the opening scene, mention the Ikariya. They are a criminal organization. Pretty big one. But yeah, they've come to Morgan for something, and I think I know what that something is, so... I gotta get back to playing a little bit before I go on vacation for a bit, because I won't be doing any uploading or recording during that time. Alright. It was a quiet and uneventful drive in the back of the limousine. The privacy, at least, was nice. But with Abba and Costello riding in the front, I had no way of getting information out of them, not even passively. So instead, I spent the whole ride trying to play out all the different ways that this could go. Haven't liked any of them so far. I suppose I should have felt relief or gratitude when we pulled up outside of an imposing skyscraper in Seven Alley. Yeah, they're here for business. I suppose it's a good sign that no one's put a bag over my head or stuck a needle in my neck. But I don't feel like celebrating. For all I know, they really don't have a clue about what I did in the lower ward last night. But for some reason, they've placed their attention on me. And there's little I hate more than unwanted advances. I'm also not a fan of being made to wait. Why am I just sitting out here? In here? Oh yeah, it's like a little dome. We're too late. Well, only by a few minutes. He filled the time slot. Already? Then we've got no chance of... Maybe if his other meeting went well. Are we on hold, gentlemen? In the world's most expensive waiting room? Quiet! I take it he's glaring at me behind those lenses, but I'm more interested in the sweat glistening on his forehead. Somehow, of the three of us, I'm the most relaxed. Yeah, I'm wondering if we frame someone super fucking important to them. That guy had a design, meaning he was important. These guys don't have a design, meaning they're not as important. This is becoming embarrassing. Can I at least take in the view while we're here? Take photos if you like, so long as you're quiet. Really? No, your phone won't work in here. Go figure. The illusion isn't unimpressive, I guess. Windows into the heavens, sparkling like raindrops across a puddle. It might even be appealing if it wasn't trying to be something it's not. You look up and see hexagons above you in the lower wards too. Rich or poor, people just can't imagine themselves under an open sky anymore. Not even in their wildest dreams. Go fish? Question mark. If I weren't hyper aware of the flickering sky hanging over my head, this could make for a lovely watering hole. But those probably aren't even real fish down there. Literal children capable of keeping goldfish alive, so of course Oh, okay, the picture wasn't art. So of course the 0.1%ers can't manage it. Maybe they'd spin it. when their pallid bodies float to the top because some idiot raised the water temperature 2 degrees, they'd certainly be easy to scoop out. If you're an impatient, undignified idiot, you could argue that it is an efficient way to fish. Is it trying too hard to look unconcerned if I sit down and start reading the news? Maybe. But my boredom outweighs my apprehension at the moment. Not my fault that they failed to be sufficiently intimidating. PSS proposition city ahead of next month's convention. Next month, the city will play host to one of the most competitive political conventions in recent memory, with Senator Mathings expecting to face significant opposition from party outliers. For securing his nomination, but while the border nation eagerly anticipates the oncoming political circus, city officials are already under fire for a supposed lack of sufficient convention security. City has already approved the record-high monthly budget for the police department, including fully unrestricted overtime for officers of all rank. The coalition of private security services, including White, Adder, Fang, and Demico, has released a press statement urging City Council to consider contracting their services ahead of the convention. Heartbreak was bad enough, now we're hearing that cops are dying in the lower wards. When are city officials going to say enough is enough, said Demico head of press relations Arthur Gall. We have the utmost respect for all first responders. None of us are blaming the hardworking police for these failures. How could they succeed when political insiders insist that they try to apprehend criminals with one hand tied behind their backs? Our contracted forces have world-class training in crowd pacification, preemptive de-escalation, and enhanced interrogation tactics. And any of the subhuman scum who empathize with anarchists won't dare to leave their mothers' basements once we can get our boots on the ground. That's a guaranteed. City Council declined to comment when we reached out to them to ask whether they would be issuing a request for proposal on such services. The total city population is expected to swell next month as the national political spotlight draws lobbyists, delegates, political action committees, and voters in ahead of the 2-week-long process. Most of the community members we spoke to expressed optimism about the increase in economic activity and tourism the convention is expected to bring, but some who refused to give us their permission to publish their identity info rudely and loudly voiced their criticism. 2 weeks for a convention when the nominee was decided 2 years ago is a joke, and we're the punchline. Putting the bill to pay cops to stand around outside parties full of thousands of do-nothing staffers and campaign managers, and you can get more of that article. This article is presented to you advertiser free thanks to the contributions of our generous donors, including Daniel Mass of the Daniel Mass Foundation, Rebecca E. Jones of the Rebecca E. Jones Foundation, Jessica and Ronald McGuile of the McGuile Foundation for the Arts and Science, the Rockford Fund for Public Broadcasting, and readers like you. Thank you. That feels like a reference of some sort. Wait. Am I insane? I'm looking it up real fast, but I feel like reading that out loud sounded super familiar to me. I guess not. It almost reads out like you're watching a PBS show. I'm from viewers like you. Thank you. I don't know, it sounded so familiar. But there's Rockford. I suppose it's less offensive than the bare advertisement or paywall, but why list your donors mid-article? I'm glad I read that part then. Because then the comment wouldn't have been funnier. All it does is make my eyes glaze over. Whatever, I got the important part. City's hosting the convention next month, putting pressure on the council to vote on hiring mercenaries, supporting a candidate. No, the hiring mercenaries! They already decided again. They already decided the candidate. Or something. It definitely felt more weighing on security. So I'm gonna say hiring mercenaries. Whether or not to bring in private security contractors on top of the massive policing budget. It makes all difference to me. Cops and mercs have different quirks, but they all share the same blind spots. I'll be just fine. The average law-abiding citizen will put up with them clogging the streets for 2 weeks, so... Not like it'll be the least popular political decision made next month. Everyone knows Mathings will be the candidate that was decided years ago. The contested convention will just be him finding a balance between how much public opposition he's willing to stomach. That's how many favors he feels like giving out. This country's already a circus without any bread. You'd think the least they could do is to make the performances entertaining. What's that in the article about cops dying in the lower wards anyway? Pretty heavy-handed to just make up that kind of thing, even when pearl-clutching and pitching yourself at the same time. Hold on, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna look at settings. I feel like, I don't know if it's coming up in the recording, but I feel like it's like pausing every so often. Like it's freezing a little. I think that helped a little. Not that it matters. I mean, it looks fine. Something changed, but I can't really tell. I feel like it's lagging at spots. I don't know what it is. Could be the 50 tabs I have open. They're close to a bunch of shit. Maybe that helps. Oh fuck! What'd that say? Well, I've looked around at everything that caught my eye. Now I'm out of ideas. Everything except. Maybe they don't know we're here. I'm gonna try knocking. What are you? Hey! Before I get the chance, creaking oak draws my attention to an alternate entrance on the other side of the water. Oh wait, no, this is much better. No, there's more guys! Stop bringing in guys! I'm trying to take a screenshot. Stop staring and get a move on. That's the kind of man walking out of this place. Who's waiting for me inside. Red Tower residential floors. Pomp and circumstance, ceremony and ritual. For some reason I thought that the Mafia of all people would be a little more efficient in their execution. A little more honest about what they are. Evidently not. Artifice with every glance, costumes and makeup abound. This disappointment. But even here in the supposed bowels of the underworld, there's no escaping the etiquette of it all. I feel like I read that wrong. That even here in the supposed bowels of the underworld, there's no escaping the etiquette of it all. She's the one. Doesn't look like much. Suddenly, their posture stiffened even further. Drew feet. Their necks subtly turned to a pair of doors in the back. Each of them attuned to some signal I'm not receiving. Still, the young master returns. I'd rather be a small child. Yes, I feel like if they did it the first time, they have to do something less impressive the second time. You're late. Hold on, wait. Young master, sir, everyone slow down. We came as soon as we found her, sir. Traffic was This is just some sassy lost child. Not the red. I don't even watch One Punch Man. Dude, they just sneak a few in. Silence. Yes, sir. What time were you told to return by? 4 o'clock, sir. And what time is it now? Permission to check your phone. Oh, permission to check my phone. You're late. We're tasked with finding one woman and bringing her here in a timely manner. Sir, we will speak when I tell you to, and not one word further, or else I'll have your teeth removed. By way of curbside. Oh. Is this a prank? Am I being recorded? He who wishes to fight must first count the cost. So says Sun Tzu. Please let this be a prank. Is that from Art of War? I don't think you can fathom the cost your tardiness has incurred. The lead up to my execution of some kid reading some art from Art of War, I might just... What is the #1 rule of this in this family? Timeliness, sir. When money gets wasted, it can be replaced. But time only goes one way. It's always running out. The loss is permanent. Every second wasted is a scar on this house's face. Timeliness is next to godliness. So say I. Oh god. So if you two were ever waste my time, the house's time again, expect to be dragged through hell. I'm already there. Now both of you, get out. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Wait. Yeah. Useless. You. Red woman. You're being addressed. I have pride. I just want this to be over with as fast as possible. You're the lawyer, correct? Okay, so they addressed her as lawyer, meaning they're looking for a lawyer. So I think I'm right. You may answer. As fast as possible. I am a lawyer, Morgan, criminal defense, Mr... How should I address you? As all outsiders do, by my name. Makoto of House Ikariya. You, Morgan Criminal Defense, have the great honor of being summoned before me. Don't bother bowing. Once you start, you'll end up prostrated all day, and we have important work to do. Right, out of an abundance of respect for your time, Makoto. I should let you know that I still have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh. I'll have them kneel on a bed of nails later or something. Or some such thing. Mrs. defends. Mrs.? Really? The house is in need of your legal services. Yeah, they need a lawyer. Oh. Would you give me a moment to clear my throat? I need to switch gears. An instant. Right then, so you want to hire me? One of our own is being slandered by multiple homicide charges. You will defend him. Yep. There it is. We have to defend the guy we fucked over. You want to hire me, and I'm flattered, Makoto, but did you pull my name out of a hat, pick a random page in the phone book? I have many books on my phone, libraries full of esoteric knowledge spread across countless tomes. You will have to be more specific. Sorry, I misspoke. What I mean is, this is House Ikariya. We must keep a small army of lawyers on retainer. Surely any one of them would be happy to help you. True, we have lawyers. Competent ones, expensive ones, and some who are both. But the best of them are all preoccupied. That's it? They're all just preoccupied? Preoccupied means busy. Thanks. But I'm still not sure how my name specifically was. You have a customer survey you want filled out, Miss Defense. You were recommended, but doesn't matter how it came about. Normally it wouldn't matter, but when the client I'm recommended to is one of the richest, most well-connected families in the country, it gives me pause. I don't have any friends in high places. Not anymore. That makes it hard to see this as a favor. Not when my employer doesn't even know my goddamn name. Of course, my apologies. No doubt you have other questions. Very well, I'll permit you to ask them. Such a gentleman. Yeah, we'll just start going down the line. If I wasn't brought here because of what happened last night, then this is just another job. No, you're definitely here because of what happened last night. Meaning all this, starting back at the bar, this has all just been their idea of a power move. Thank you for insisting that I get to visit your estate in person. It's beautiful here. An oasis of old-world sensibility amidst a desert of steel and neon eyesores. It's what the house elders say. I've never seen anything like it. It matches your family's reputation for class. Ha, my family's reputation is power, not class. I take it a step further and guess you're renowned for violence rather than power. That's a moot point. Violence can be classy. And from how this house is talked about and the headlines I read on the drive over, the nature of your family's reputation seems to vary greatly depending on who you ask. Some think you got half the gangs in the city under your control. Others think you're left all that behind and are no worse than any other corporate family. You expected me to ask you what you think? What I think is that I'll need some basic information if I'm to adequately defend your interest. Or finissers. Is it financiers? I feel like financiers isn't correct. I think financiers is right? You don't say. Leading, investing, taking over, buying out, the Ikariya financial group was founded nearly 2 centuries ago. Owning funds is high risk and high reward, but as you can see, our results speak for themselves. Ikariya Financial Group, fancy way of saying they got their start as mobster loan sharks. It's not impossible to get this rich with loan sharks alone. But such unsavory work when you get them into the ballrooms and boardroom tiers of society. You gotta rip people off their mortgages to do that. It's leading the house's only income stream. No. Through Ikariya, our holding company, the house controls any number of what a civilian like you might call legitimate enterprises. And yes, we did found the Renogen Pharmaceutical Corporation. But what's past this prologue? Renogen? They're a drug company, one of the biggest. You're saying you've no relation to Renogen presently. The company went public years ago, and Ikariya divested our shares not long after. We were given 1 seat on the board as a formality. That's the extent of it. Given a family like this only takes... Why is he suddenly so humble? He doesn't know the meaning of the word. He's downplaying their pool within Renogen. Then the house must have a reason to want to distance themselves from the company. You're being very modest, Makoto. And more than a little vague. It's only polite. It's unnecessary talking to your lawyers. You aren't my lawyer, Mrs. Defends, but you will be working for me. You will have to become accustomed to putting your needs second. He's deflecting. If he's trying to be subtle about it, he's not doing it well. I doubt it's possible a company with as big a boot heel as Renogen has no relation to anything that happens in this city, but I'll drop it for now. I'm in no rush to wade into boardroom politics again anytime soon. I'd like to know a bit more about you, actually. How long have you... I am the only son of Raphael Ikariya, and the only grandson of Daisuke Ikariya. CEO of the Ikariya Financial Group, patriarch of this family, and chairman of the house. I gather that those titles are all one and the same. As one destined to succeed at the headship, commanding the family's servants is my responsibility and my birthright. So if one of them needs a lawyer, it falls to you. When our loyal men, women, or their families need help, it's my solemn duty to ensure that they are taken care of. And your age. What a boorish question. I knew that peasants raised outside our stratus had little understanding of the finer things. I assumed that one with a law degree would be educated enough to know that what is and isn't appropriate to discuss. Just because I'm younger than some does not mean I'm any less capable of managing the people who work for me. Does it, men? Sir, no sir. You definitely command their respect. That is no coincidence. One of the most frequently noted characteristics of great men who have remained great is loyalty to their subordinates. So says George S. Patton. That's so interesting. This is an important point. Perhaps another quote is called for. I don't think that's necessary. I'll grant you another. If soldiers are punished before they have grown attached to you, they will not prove submissive. And unless submissive, then will be practically useless. So says Sun Tzu. Back to back? Yes, the second quotation was called for in this instance. I'm only to emphasize to you that no one stays useless to House Ikariya for very long. One way or another. I'll admit I was a little taken aback to step off an elevator and into your enclosure out there. The gardens? Yes, our groundkeepers work hard on them. Does the illusion of the sky come from a live recording of somewhere else? Or is it generated programmatically? They take quite the equation. It's impressive, yes. As for how it works, you don't know. Don't have the technical minutiae in front of me at the moment. Minutiae? I don't feel like I've seen that word before. I don't feel like I see a lot of words, guys. I might know words. Oh, that's okay. Of course it is. The lion does not concern themselves with the exterior decorations of the sheep. Lion does not concern himself. It's your exterior and your decorations. What does it matter anyways? If you want the specifics so badly, I'll have one of the servants put you in contact with the contracting firm. That's alright. Something tells me the consolation alone would break my bank account. I do appreciate the warm welcome, Makoto, of House Ikariya, really. But legal consultations are usually more private than this. Are we certain we need the peanut gallery? Let it not be said that House Ikariya is not accommodating of its guests. We're more than capable of compensating for this. Nut gallery you allude to? That's so sweet of you. But do all these guards really need to be present for this conversation? If you're referring to the additional security, it can't be helped, circumstances being what they are. Circumstances? And if you're referring to my retainers in general, then I suggest you step back into the garden and take a deep breath. Clearly, the city fumes do not agree with your constitution. You must be lightheaded if you think that you're worthy to hold a one-on-one audience with the next head of this illustrious house. He's a prodigy to be this insufferable at such a young age. Thank you for indulging my curiosity so graciously, Makoto. Conquer the stingy through generosity. So says Buddha. Correct. Perhaps your education is not as deficient as I feared. I should make clear that in this case I was using the quote so subtly implied that you are stingy with your own graciousness. Got it? Yep. Shall we move on? I believe you mentioned a homicide. Multiple homicides. Tell me more. My head of security was arrested by the police last night in the lower wards. I found him brutally beaten, drugged, and tortured. And instead of bringing him straight to a hospital, they arrested him for murder. Been framed, and you must prove his innocence. I mean... this is honestly the funniest scenario for this. I fucking knew it. I mean, I wouldn't count episode 0 as a framing, it just accidentally played out that way, but she intentionally framed this guy and has to now intentionally prove that he's innocent. Is there something wrong with your voice? Is that peanut allergy you mentioned? No, I just lost my train of thought for a second there. Not used to my luck changing this fast. One of the richest families in the cities wants to pay me to prove a man's innocent of a crime I framed him for. Right, then might I ask why he was found in the lower wards? I get the impression that Ikariya territory is generally positioned more vertically. This whole city is our territory. But it's true that our presence is felt more strongly in some areas than others. They captured him early yesterday. He was ambushed by cowards and dragged down to that stain of a neighborhood to be tortured senselessly. Well, he was tortured, I can attest to that. But I don't believe in senseless violence. There's always a purpose, and it's usually staring you in the face. People just don't like making eye contact. Do you have any idea why he was taken, or by whom? It was the Blue Bloods. They made no effort to hide it. No worthy opponent, I might call that commendable, but knowing them, they're just too stupid to value deniability. I'm sure. And I'm sure there's no love lost between your group by kidnapping and torturing. It's beyond the pale, I agree. And the police are even worse. I expect no help from those incompetent fools, but these charges they're making, they're utterly ridiculous. Of course they are, but don't worry, I'm confident. Wait. Hold on. It went by really fast. I can't pull up the backlog, but I think they want to pin 5 murders on him. 5 is interesting. 5? Did you say 5? Okay, what was she saying? I think, I expect no help from those incompetent fools, but these charges they're making, they're utterly ridiculous. Did you say 5? Yes, 5, it's absurd. I only get credit for 4 bodies. Ooh, that's right. I thought there was 3, I forgot that there was 4 in that room, but... 5? Ooh, now it's getting a little spicier. I'm already getting into this. Acting so high and mighty, so affronted, so eager to blame us for the deaths of one of their officers. Dead cop? Is this what those mercs that were advertising themselves with? Oh, that was the extra dialogue for reading that datapad. What do you mean one of their officers? Was there a UC or... No, they made their ridiculous claim that he killed some uniforms while resisting arrest. As if a member of our house would fear prison. I've never dared to think I got lucky here. These circumstances sound very complex, Makoto, and the police take the death of one of their own very seriously. What makes you so certain of this man's innocence? Because this man's name is Sosuke Ikariya. Hound? I've known him all my life. Well, 3 or 4 years of it. You look about 3 or 4. There's no individual more honorable, more devoted, more trustworthy. Not once have I ever known him to be violent, impulsive. He didn't do this. I know he didn't do this. But proving that is your job. About that. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, Makoto. But you will. If no other reason than because we shall pay you more than you customarily receive for a contract. Considerably more. Not everything's a question of money. Yes, your meaning is taken. It needn't be silver and gold. You'll have no complaints with your compensation. The favor of House Ikariya can go a long way in the city. As can our wrath. I don't appreciate being threatened. I don't find it funny even coming from a kid. However, the state thinks whoever killed those 4 blue bloods also killed a cop. I can't afford to sit this hand out. Ooh. They'll go over every centimeter of that building. One wrong move, one hair out of place. If I lose here, I lose, period. If I win, throwing an Ikariya-sized wallet in the pot beforehand is all upside. I understand, Makoto of House Ikariya. I'll take Sasuke's case. You say as if it weren't ever in doubt. A true prodigy. But he might be right. Maybe it never was. I choose to put that gun into this Sasuke's hands when I could have just plunged that knife into his temple. Maybe the line drawn from that moment to the razor edge I'm walking right now is perfectly straight. A line drawn from one point to another is always perfectly straight. A better metaphor would be a bullet's trajectory. For all that talk of wind resistance and breathing patterns and the Coriolis effect and chaos theory, can exactly act surprised when your shot lands right where the crosshairs were pointed. Morgan's my last name, by the way, before you start writing any checks. You should have enunciated. I think that's actually a perfect place to stop. I know it's a little shorter, but honestly, I kind of like keeping these parts in little segments. I think that's a good segment point. Oh, we're in transit. Well, if we're in transit, I kind of wouldn't mind reading through. But, like, definitely the next stop. Usually the transit bits aren't too long, so I'll let an in-transit moment go by. Hey there, boss. Of course I'm fine. What did you think was going to happen? Yeah, all good news. I've got quite the paycheck coming my way. It'd be bad news for you if you get a large crowd tonight. Yeah, I'll tell Sarah to meet me at the police station address I'm about to send. I've got work for her to do. There will be quite the paycheck indeed waiting for me, assuming I can win. But I can afford to accept it. Or can I afford to accept it? Ugh. Hey. Were any of those jokes around the office about your clients being connected to organized crime true? What? Is this some kind of honeypot? Trying to get a grasp on something. Now I know you're baiting me. World's easiest, that's what she said, layup. I'll still basket that shit, though I don't give a fuck. Why do you make everything so hard? Come on. Like, come on, Freckles. Low-hanging fruit. I have no idea what you're talking about. Obviously. Why are you asking me about mafia shit, though? No more gay case for the Ikariya. Whom I assume you've heard of. Definitely. Under circumstances that are probably vulgar. Absolutely. Which you'd be happy to brag about to me. Anytime. But I'm not well positioned to turn down the job outright. So I'd like to know whether they'll be resistant about parting ways afterwards. Why? Do you not like getting paid lots of money? I don't like being changed. Fair enough. So you're like, Just asking for my advice. The aura loss is incredible. I'm not going to attempt to parse that. I doubt you ever could. My generation's sense of humor is practically impregnable. It was a very basic non sequitur, Auntie. It just wasn't funny. Not even. Non sequitur would be. What's the charge? That's just getting back on topic. The charge is homicide. 5 counts. Meh. You're probably fine. All the stuff you hear about mobsters being clingy with their lawyers. It's because they don't want anyone who's been through their underwear drawers running around telling tales. Whatever poor fuckers they pin multiple homicides on is obviously not anyone important. I don't think he was framed. Not by his own people. Nah, pinned as in stuck with. Like a chore. Powerful people. Mob or no. If they get lawyers, it's for tax evasion and conspiracy charges. Dirty work's left to the pawns. I almost said prawns for some reason. And the whole point of a pawn is you don't have to think twice about trading them off. Alright. Guess I know the rumors are true then. Ah, yep, you uncovered my cool fucking secret. Listen. Actors. Singers. Celebs. They all like expensive things and being the center of attention. Mobsters have money to burn and want the cologne of legitimacy. Everyone wants what they can't have. Actually, okay, chill, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Great looking Gatsby ass. I still pine for the motherfucker. What? All I'm saying is there's mutually beneficial arrangements to be made. Between the rich and famous. And the rich and infamous. So you bet your ass I was in those rooms. Negotiating appearance fees. And taking my 30%. 30%? You really are shameless. That's what she said. Alright. Thanks as always for the Sage console. Hey, if you're really feeling grateful, give me a solid and call your rents. They say they never hear from you. And I know you can't be that busy. But you're bored enough to talk to me. They're the ones who are busy. Okay, and now I think that's a good little stopping point. Oh yeah, we're... Okay. Well, good little bit in between, but I think that's where I want to stop for now. Okay, yeah, this whole thing's exactly what I thought it was gonna be, but now we got an extra element. She framed one guy for 4 murders, not 5. So how are we gonna do that? Because she's only fully aware of 4 of them. This one's gonna be interesting. Kind of liking where we're going so far. Yeah. But for now we'll stop, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye!